you obviously got Matt LaGrasso back just for a couple minutes at the end of last game. How nice is it to have him back after a few games out with the ankle injury?
I've just been saying to a couple of guys over there, in trying to fill the void of Michael's absence. You can look at Matt's style of play as something similar to Michael's. They're both very dynamic individuals, box to box, lateral workers as well. They've got a lot of energy in their game. So I'm very, very pleased that I can lean on him again. It might be a bit of a dip your toe time and get some minutes somewhere somehow and ease him back into it. He's been out 6 weeks, but full story is very, very pleased to have him back in the group.
Mm-hmm. He was a guy who had played, I think, every game up until the point of that injury in the existence of this club. What did it mean what did his absence mean to your team? Did it make it tougher to kind of figure out what you're doing without Matt available?
Yeah, it always makes it difficult when you've got good players out. If I look at some of the injuries we've had, they've really hit us in that midfield area. You look at captain, just recently, Matt, as you've just said, ever present. Derek Jones, who we signed obviously for next year as well at this point. They're three calibre players, and to be without those individuals at any time is always difficult. The fact that Matt is finding his way back into the group as Michael sadly leaves us is a positive. It helps in the process of rotation and maybe balance in that midfield area. But the reality is, whenever you've got good players missing, it's a tough void to fill.
Another way you've been kind of, I guess, dealing with Michael being out is playing Ken Moore in the midfield. You've talked about it in the past. What did you think of his second game in that role, basically for the entire contest?
Well, he's a versatile soccer player, full stop. He's what you see. He does what he says on the tin. He heads it, he kicks it, he's strong, he's brave as a defender. But I think he's far, far more astute and thoughtful than maybe a lot of people give him credit for. And it didn't surprise me that as the second period wore on, Ken became more and more influential. He started to get his passing range. He started to identify areas that he could get away from opponents. He started to read the game a little bit better in there and get better pressure. And subsequently, we were camped in their half in the second period, and he was a big piece of that. And as we move on, it may be that he has to help us out there at some point again.
What do you remember from the first game against Charlotte here at First Tennessee Park that you can, I guess, take forward and end up with a better result this weekend?
I think there's a lot of lessons learned. I mean, they played a good game plan on the day. Their counter-attacking style caused us a lot of problems, especially first half again. The fact that they do have 4 or 5 players that are more than capable of creating something out of nothing, really. You've got the experience of Enzo and of Dominic Aduro, Herrera. You've got guys there that are more than capable of making an opening and creating, or actually making a difference and scoring. They've got a very talented group. There's no doubt about it. They've found their way back into some form after a very, very tough start, and I think it's full credit to them that they're in the position they're actually in right now, given the way they started the season. So they're not to be taken lightly, especially at home. It's a difficult place to go, not necessarily because the crowd get behind them, because they don't, because there ain't normally anyone there. But it's just a difficult place. The field's good size. They play the field well, as you would imagine the home team does, and they take full advantage of it. It's difficult.
You guys have obviously found quite a bit more scoring form since that game too. Obviously, you were disappointed with the 1-1 result at that point. How do you continue that form or find it back after the Bethlehem game and a disappointing lack of scoring?
Yeah, like I said after the game, I'm not going to get too frustrated about what happened in the second half. We created plenty of chances. Unfortunately, on that occasion, we were unable to get ourselves over the line. There were 1 or 2 players at the end of a long week and a tough week that I think were just off of the sharp edge and creativeness that we've seen before. Daniel being the obvious one. He's put a lot into the games just recently. And that makes a difference. There's no doubt about it. He's your top goal scorer. If he's not getting in good positions and looking like he's really on his game, then it will affect others. There's no doubt about it. But I think we've got a nice vein and mentality about the group at the moment. There's a lot of positive in the way we're managing games, the way we're creating, certainly the way we're defending as a group, and the type of spirit that there is within the team at the moment. And I think they're seeing that there's an opportunity. New York get beat last night, Pittsburgh are on a great run, that top 5 or 6 again's getting really, really tight. And it's going to be the team that can continue their form into this final 10 games or so that really get it done. But I'm sure there are going to be some peaks and troughs as we move along this final stretch. We've got to make sure that we stay good, we stay firm, hold firm as long as we can.
Yeah. Matt Pickens is 1 clean sheet away from having 100 in his career. You've coached him for a long time, both here and in Colorado. I mean, how impressive of an achievement is that? And what does it say about his longevity in this game and how he's been able to perform throughout all of that?
It doesn't surprise me in the least that he's nearing that mark. From an early standpoint back in Colorado when he came into the group, I remember him coming in and taking over the starting jersey immediately in 2009. His character and the way he works and looks after himself has enabled him to get to this point. A lot of people, including goalkeepers, I know they go on a little bit longer in the modern game, but if you don't look after yourself, it doesn't matter. Age is just a number, of course. You've got to make sure your body's functioning still. I mean, the weekend was a prime example of that. There's very, very little for him to do, and their best opportunity was out of the blue, top corner. He makes a wonderful save that, I was seeing 10 years ago. And that's where he's at. He works hard, he's fully focused, he's ready at any point, and my hope is that his 100th comes at the weekend.